Good evening, everyone. Thank you to attending our party here. Those of you who couldn't be here, thank you for coming on with the Zoom link. Tonight, this is the December holiday party combination December meeting. And we're going to pause for the secretary to read the treasurer's report, and then we'll be back. Okay. I had sent out an email to those that are on Zoom so they knew what we were going to be covering. Next order of new business, I'd like to go ahead and vote in Peter.
Okay.
We had an application for Peter Schwenk. He's been very involved in our nets for quite a while. And for some reason, I don't know what happened with his application, but I'm making a motion to vote him in. He's not able to be with us tonight. But does anybody have any questions or opposition to voting Peter Schwenk in? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been helping us with our extra class. Very nice guy.
Sure.
Any questions? All righty. All in favor of voting him in?
Aye.
Any oppositions? All right, let the record show we have a new member. We've had quite a few new people join in this year. It's been a fun year.
2 new members last month.
And 2 new members last month, right?
That was old business. by the way.
Yeah. That was- All right, what up? What else up? Mike,
Do you want to do, do you want to do Winterfield Day? Get that
Yeah.
over with?
Yep, Mike, come on and talk to us about Winterfield Day.
Okay, Winterfield Day, so we had a bunch of people that signed up, and I need to, it's the last weekend of January, so I need everybody to send me whether you're bringing a station and what time you want to, 24 hours, 2 p.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Same place, Long Pond at the Yurt.
Can we get him closer to the mic? It's a little difficult to hear him.
Yeah, you're all the way back up there. They can't hear you.
My mic's working great, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. All right, so I think 14 people signed up for it. And so I just need everybody between now and the end of the year to select what times you think you'll be there. You're going to be there all day, 24 hours, whatever times you're going to be there, and whether you want to bring a station. So the concept is if you have something small like what Ted has, he brings out little small radios or a POTA radio that you want to bring out and operate, you could set it up there. And we're going to be in the two classroom or 2 class, which is the, it's not 2A, it's 2O. So we're outdoors, but it's 2 transmitters on simultaneously. And then we'll have another station that will be on, and we'll have, it's either going to be a Kenwood or an ICOM, and we'll have that set up so that if you just want to come out and operate, you can use that radio.
Okay.
All right, but everybody make sure that you put in for your times. Either,
All right, so
you guys hear that?
just let Mike know what you're available to do and what you have in way
Send you
of.
an email, we have like a sign up, Genius type deal going on.
No sign up genius. This is old
Sign
school
up
stuff.
stupid.
So it's just pretty much.
Wants to write you a letter and mail it.
Yeah, write a letter and mail it as long as it's postmarked before the end of the year.
Do you accept carrier pigeon?
Or you could try 40 meter CW.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, Ted can talk to you that way. All righty. Anything else from whole business or anything?
No.
Okay. All righty, we're gonna go ahead and pause the meeting. Thing is, I have one final thing, that we will continue to meet here. I did talk to the fire company. The 4th Thursday of the month is available. So we will continue to meet here. We need to figure out where we want to go to dinner before we go here, though.
Truckle pit.
charcoal pit doesn't exist anymore. It's
They
dead.
closed.
It's dead, gone. Yeah,
There's.
we've got over here
There's a
Fair and
pretty
Drive.
good- There's a pretty good restaurant just down the street, Crossroads, that we. Yeah, Crossroads.
Yeah, Crossroads is okay for diner food. And we've got Applebee's. So we can make a choice between one of those two.
What's the brewing company with pizzeria in it? That strip mall here.
And
Yeah. and-
Ariello's.
yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Argilos, yeah.
Is that,
Pretty good.
It's
Sushi
it's
Sumo.
not that far down.
There's Sushi Sumo.
Yeah,
wait a minute, no, where's this?
there's a shopping center down there.
Astro Shopping Plaza.
Yeah,
Oh, down that way,
Or-
yeah.
or East
Lemons and grapes, grapes and lemons.
Oh, lemons and capers.
Lemon and capers, yeah.
yeah.
Capers and lemons, lemons and capers, whatever.
There's also that diner that's just opening up where the old Radio Shack was. And Price's Corner.
There's a diner there now? Okay, all righty. All righty, so,
One more thing.
yes, chat.
Two more things.
Needs programs. Okay, so the program that was originally supposed to be tonight was Nano VNA, and that's gotten moved to December, and Mike's going to be, or
January.
that's moved to January, and Mike's going to do that. February,
February, Foster's gonna talk about balloons and radios.
okay,
Good.
all righty.
March March on is open.
Okay, so I know Dr. Jeff Goldstein has somebody that's available for something. So I'll have the two of you talk to each other so that maybe that guy can get with you for March. So start thinking about what you'd like to present, not just what you'd like to hear presented. Because we have a lot of wealth of talent in this room. I know that from the extra class. You guys know a lot more than what you act like you do. So,
I'll have the calendar, the meeting dates updated by the end of the week.
oh yeah, and I made a new calendar for the weekly radio net. Weekly radio net had 3 people on it. The net control was Dave, and 2 people who are not members were on our net last night. Now granted, we had an extra class last night, and the next 2 Wednesdays, we're having extra class. So I'm gonna need for you to cover,
It's holiday.
Next Wednesday and.
the next
Okay.
2 Wednesdays, yeah. But do we want to continue with a weekly net? And I really think we should. But I need for you guys to be checking in.
Well, one of the things I've observed is that I think that's a good segue into a couple of
Yeah,
philosophical issues.
Yeah,
I don't know how many of my venting emails I clued you in on.
some of them.
A couple of them, but I have noticed that at least in our neck of the woods, there are, 3 nets a week. You got Davis's Delaware Valley Friends on Monday, you got CARES on Tuesday, you got this on, and my observation is that really over the past 2 or 3 months particularly, it's the attendance on these things has really dropped off. So, question and
That's
large,
across the board.
across the board on all 3. I remember a couple weeks ago, I did check in on a Monday night, and we have 3 or 4 guys. So it's, are we getting netted out? Our general base is, as Wendy often says, right, and the good news is, we got a lot of, between the Aries group, the CARES group, DRA, we're all kind of a lot of the same people. And are we, is this net's becoming like overkill? And so,
I have a comment.
Okay, or hold that. I'm going to superimpose your comment. One of the things that I would like to see is if any of you are familiar with the Parksburg net that's on Mondays and Thursdays on the Parksburg repeater, I've actually joined via Echolink because I can't hit it from where I live. But they actually have topics of discussions. People check into these nets and they do a roundtable where they actually talk about something technical. And I would like to see our net do something like that. So coming up for the new year, change up our format. One of the first things I'm going to change up in that format is really shorten down that net control speech. And I'd like to do some kind of a topic net. So that way we're not getting on just to rag chew or say, this is W3NRN, I'm in and out tonight. I mean, that serves no purpose. Jeff, what would you like to say? Because you're one of our net controls.
I have two things to say. The topic about having discussion topics is a good idea. One, there's an example of this on a repeater. It's WA7ABU, Whiskey Alpha 7 Alpha Bravo uniform. They're in Oregon and they have the repeaters are, they have LinkedIn or not LinkedIn, Echolink and radio feeds like off of different phone apps and stuff that you can listen to. They have every night they have a net, and during the days they have nets. At nights they have different topics on their nets. Like Monday night might be like a tech net. Tuesday night might be a swap net. Friday is like a satellite or space net. But they also have morning nets and afternoon nets every day. Now, the second point is I listened to a net that's up in Philadelphia on the W3D or W3DI repeaters. Every day they have a morning net that I know of at least, and I take part in every day, 7 days a week. They have 25 to 35 people every day. Now, we can't get people 3 days a week. That's kind of lame. But I know people have things going on and all that kind of stuff. But their net usually lasts about an hour. The net calls for people. And some people might have a topic they talk about or ask people a question. Like your favorite holiday movie was today. On the net on Thursdays usually does that. But they do it every day, 25 to 35 people. And if we're complaining that we can't get a steady 5 to 10 people on 3 nights a week, it's pretty sad. That's all I have to say.
No, I agree with you, Jeff. I understand. I think that we could use them as training nets.
It was hard to hear the fan.
Okay, so he mentioned the Cliff version of it was WA7 Alpha Bravo uniform out in Oregon has a daily net where they actually have a topic of discussion every night. It's something different. So he was basically reiterating what I was saying. So, and he used that as an example, and I used the one that's Parksburg. So my suggestion is moving forward for 2023 is that we try to do, CaresNet is what it is. John DiGiovanni has the radio check-ins, and then what we do on Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday night, twice a month, we'll do a digital training net where I open up Zoom and we get on and we do Echolink or FL Digi products and make sure that everybody's computers are working and, get everybody into that. We, on the other hand, could do some other kind of radio topic that, we could set up, a schedule or whatever. But I think we need to stimulate our brains a little bit and interact with each other more than just a rag chew. Like I was out, I cut my grass today, or, this is Wendy and I'm in and out.
Well, we sort of have tried that with, over the past, about 6 weeks ago, or 2 months ago, you said, hey, if you have questions, technical or operational stuff about ham radio
Well,
and
right.
that,
Right, and then obviously.
We haven't got a lot of
Dave,
interest there.
Okay, that was clearly a trial. That didn't work. That, the people who are checking in don't have questions, or maybe they might have one. You might have a couple of people that have one, but it hasn't been consistent. So this way, if we do our nets, that it's an actual training net with an agenda for the net. It's not just a check-in, test my radio, let you know I cut my grass or I shoveled the snow. and then move on. Yes, Alan?
So, let me suggest. Problem with the nets are, not that it's a problem, the way the nets are facilitated is that we check in and we have a small dialogue with everybody who's checking in. By the time we're done, it's 45 minutes, it's an hour. Sometimes, because of getting to everybody. My suggestion is if you really want to facilitate something like that, when you do a check in, just grab the person's call sign, verify, move on, get everybody checked in, and then at the end it, and then have an open session. You know, some people don't want to wait around for their turn and such. I know that this is not being realistic. Sometimes it's just checking in, you know, verifying that you made a connection and then move on to the action.
What's kind
That's kind of,
Because when it's over, everybody goes, they scatter. Only a few people hang around once in a while.
no, I don't see
It
that.
does take too long.
I see everybody
I
staying
mean,
on.
the current format is basically, you know, we do
I
a
know the
geographic
current format.
check-in, make it kind of organized, then we go down the list and, okay,
Simplify it.
Tom, you're up now, Wendy, you know, what do you got for us tonight?
You gotta force them to have this conversation.
So I don't, you know,
Okay.
no, I'm not necessarily dismissing that, but then if it's just like an open forum, you still need a net controller, you know, a ringmaster of the circus.
Well, I was gonna say, okay, so the Parksburg net that I mentioned earlier, so there's somebody who's the net control, he starts the net. And so, you know, this is W3NRN, you know, Wendy at Pike Creek, and then Ted comes up and he goes, this is K3RTA, Ted. And then it's Mark K3AUJ. Well, by the time it gets back around to Wendy being at the top of the list, I then introduce Ted. Ted has to introduce Mark. Mark's got to introduce whoever followed him.
Well,
And so-
we tried that once or twice.
You know, and so everybody has to pay attention to who was before them and who was, and who, you know, who was before them, so they knew, Ted's up, I'm after him, you know, Mark's got to pay attention because I'm after him. And it really, so everybody had to pay attention to who was signing in on the net that night. And then for people who had to leave the net early, they got moved up to the top of the list so they could at least then address everybody. And then they left. And then the open forum or the training portion of the net then kicked in.
We have a
Mike-
question.
Mike actually raised his hand. Go ahead, Mike.
I just had one comment and then one question. I was net control a couple of times, and if you change that preamble, I think that's a lot better. I've done nets at a national level, community level, all the way down, and that is a real long preamble. And when you only have 6 or 8 people, 10 people checking in, you really don't need to go by geographical areas. I think the only reason it was done that way so that when people double on the repeater was the only reason. And then the question I had is, do we have a net manager? Who's supposed to be running the, do we have a net manager assigned?
So we have a net manager. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so somebody that is, what's the word?
You make sure there is a net control operator.
Yeah, somebody that manages the.
Well, I guess it's been me because I put up the sign up
So,
genius.
yeah, so we have, you know, the sign up, you know.
So maybe we need a net manager.
Well, I mean, I've been serving that role.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, unless somebody wants to take it over. Do you want to take that over? Do you want to take it over?
No, I was just asking who it was. It was you. Okay, so you're.
The problem has
All
not
right,
been.
hold on,
hold on.
To serve as.
Dave,
Dave,
Officer.
Dave,
Hold on,
please.
we have
It's
a
not
question
open- it's not
online. Hold
open
on.
back and
Jerry,
forth.
it's Jeff, it's your turn.
Not really a question, but just a comment.
Okay,
I've taken part in multiple nets across the country since I became, or listened to them at least, since I became, actually even before I became a amateur radio operator. A lot of different places do different things. The way that we do the First State Amateur Radio Club Net is the same way that the other ones do it. There's so many different ones out there, the way they do different things. We just probably need to find something that works better for us and will keep people's interest. So yes, the way our format that we do it, everyone else does it too in this area, at least the other 3 nets are the two nets. So maybe we need something completely different, and that will be the way we go.
Right. Yeah, good points, Jeff. You know, we'll have to find what our niche is, definitely shortening the preamble. But I would like to try some kind of a training net or something to pique interest. How many in this room right now have VHF radios that you could be getting on 7.0? Okay, so the first the first Wednesday of January, can you guys make a concerted effort to be on at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night? How many of you have prior commitments on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m.?
Once a month, I do.
Depends where I am.
Okay,
I can't hit that from near my house.
7:0?
Mhm.
Really? Okay. So for the majority of you, you can. Okay, it's not going to be a great sacrifice. I'll make sure that I'm net control for that one, and I'll try and come up with an interesting topic to discuss. How's that sound? How's that sound? All
Sounds
right,
good.
Joe, you have a question?
Comment.
Yes,
May I make a respectful suggestion?
sure.
And then the folks that are net control, you must have a list of people that have checked in over the last 6 months.
We do.
People that have dropped off, why don't you try contacting them and say why?
Well, some of them are here.
Well, what is that also, and I tried it, I didn't do this week.
Wait a minute,
I put out
excuse me. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
a reminder
Dave,
email on
Dave,
the,
Dave,
on Friday.
please. If you have something to say, you need to go from it, please.
The point.
okay, like a net control concept that you just dismissed as ineffective.
The point I'm trying to ask here is people's priorities change. People's abilities change. And in my case, okay, I used to be active in the 3905 net.
Mhm,
I haven't been active lately because my antenna fell down.
right,
That's why I'm not there. I'm not there because John or any of the other guys that are on the net have done something. I have an antenna problem and I can't get on the air. You may have other problems that people have that nobody knows about. And in a group setting, they may be hesitant to say anything. If they're contacted privately and you ask them the question, is there something you need? Is there some help you need to get back up? You know, what, is there a problem? Because you may come to find out that, hey, you have an older guy there that's in a house and had to move to assisted living. I can't get on that net anymore because I can't put an antenna in my assisted living place. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
And
Duly
again,
noted.
outside of a group setting, because a lot of people are usually not very willing to talk about their personal problems in a group setting. That's all.
Okay, I don't think that was the situation here tonight.
I'm not saying it is or
Yeah,
isn't, but I'm
but-
just stating the point. When people start changing, you start asking why. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, Davis doing the Delaware Valley Friends Net, and Tom and I have done the CARES Net with John DiGiovanni, and you're seeing a major drop
Yep.
from the Monday nights. And
We're competing with some Pennsylvania vets that are on the same line.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's yeah. And on Tuesday nights, it's not so much the problem that CARES has, because that's a clearly defined set of group of people.
Mhm.
But even the people who are volunteers with Christiana Hospital, some of them haven't even been making the nets. And they're in a position where they might end up falling off John's roster because they have to be participating so much to keep their volunteer status up.
Have you thought
You know,
of maybe knocking down the number of nets per week?
Well, see, this is
And then
some,
going down to like one, okay, you'll have a meeting before Thursday, well, you have your net sometime during that second week. So you're split.
well, okay, so Davis and I have actually talked about that alternating There was one thing we threw out, but you know, and Jeff and I have actually talked about this too, like, do we want to really drop the nets? Or is that kind of a cop out to do so? You know,
Well, yeah, my situation is a little bit different. I'm basically helping Giancarlo keep
right,
something alive that I don't know how much longer it's gonna go on.
right.
So I need to have a conversation with him. But,
Well, remember, up to about a year ago, we used to be just twice a month, instead of, and then, we decided to go, a while back, weekly.
What does he think that he doesn't have to go to the net?
the,
Excuse me, did you have something you wanted to tell me? Okay.
sorry, I did ask to be recognized for my apologies.
Have a comment.
Neither is he.
Have a comment.
Yes, Tom.
The CARES net on Tuesday nights is like almost a must have to have, because we get credit for
Right.
showing up there. And we have to have so many hours per year. And John keeps track of all that. And you get credit for checking onto the net. You check, you know, get credit for being on it.
Right.
They get us credit.
Yeah, Christian,
You have to meet so that's regardless how many people show up.
right.
He's gotta have that almost every week just for us to get our hours.
Right, Christiana Hospital's CARES net falls under a completely different set of rules because it is the hospital's volunteer program. So it's not going to go away, but even he and John and I talked about this a few weeks ago, that with the drop in the participation of the members who are actually listed as volunteers, not participating, if they don't have certain number of hours for the year, they could end up being dropped from being CARES, volunteers and lose their volunteer status.
Alan has a question.
So, but that's not our case. But anyway, Alan, you had a question?
No, not
Oh,
that Alan.
the other Alan, Alan online.
He put it in the chat. Are there seasonal patterns that are noticed concerning attendance on the net?
No, it's been just gradually dropping off, Alan. Mike, you had a question?
I just had a comment. I remember this discussion many months ago, and I was one that recommended we go to a weekly net.
Mm-hmm.
And that the reason for that was to get club participation, to get people out talking on the radio and get them more active in the club. But now things have changed, so maybe we ought to do what Joe was saying, maybe back off on that, maybe starting the first of the year, maybe doing
Go back to the
once a
twice.
month or once every other month, every other week. So maybe we have to change the.
Well, originally we were the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. And then once that we had 5 nights or 5 weeks, then there was 2 weeks that, before there would be another one. I hate to give up the time. I really do. I'd like to change the order for a few months just to see if maybe we can get people talking, giving them something to talk about. I'm just going to throw that out there. Anyone else?
I just have questions,
Sure.
comment kind of thing. I guess I sort of lose my gab ability late at night. And I just wonder, it's 7 free rounds and stuff that go on and just encourage people to keep blabbing about
Whatever.
Is that really beneficial?
The only thing that a 7-3 round would be is if somebody had a question in their first round and then somebody was going to be able to answer it in that closing round. But I know because somebody will say, I really didn't have much, but I'm sticking around, I don't know, Mark. Again, if we changed what we did with the net and made it more focused oriented, we wouldn't have to worry even about a 73 round. Does that make sense?
Personally, you need to maintain my interest.
Right.
And I lose it with what I just talked about,
The rambling.
Yeah, I mean, if there was something that was interesting, I would probably much more inclined to want to be part of it.
Okay, well, let's throw this out. How about if we do what David mentioned a long time ago? Let's go back to the twice a month. What Mike just mentioned about doing it, Joe's mentioned it. Okay, let's do a second and fourth again, but we'll have it as a focused net where there's topics of a discussion as opposed to just getting on and saying, hey, I'm here and I'm out again. What do you think?
I think you keep
We can
trying
give it a
things
try.
until it works.
Give it a couple- Well, question then, if I may,
Yes.
would the topic, should the topic of this week's net be blasted on a reflector so we know what it's gonna be talking about?
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be a surprise? So check it, and we're gonna take fun with Smith charts tonight. you know, and- Okay, yeah,
Dave,
like,
Dave,
no,
we're gonna
but-
talk about fence.
Hold on. All righty, so, no, I actually, I know what Parksburg does. They will announce the week before what they're gonna talk about next week. So since we're not gonna do a weekly net, we could do kind of like a sign up thing, like where, so if Jeff wants to be net control on a particular Wednesday, you want to be net control on a particular Wednesday, you guys can pick your topics and then send out to the reflector a couple of days before, hey, this coming net, we're going to talk about X, Y, Z. Smith charts, since you brought it up, you can do Smith charts.
I got those questions wrong when I.
We haven't even covered it in our class yet.
When
So.
you do the Smith chart one, let me know, because I might.
All right, so let's.
One
Yeah, go
quick
ahead.
response to Marty.
Wait,
If I may.
no.
So the net control is gonna announce a topic, and is he the one that's gonna be like instructing on the topic? Or
Yeah.
are you asking for everybody's
Well,
views
however,
on that topic?
well, we can have it be a teaching session, we could have it be,
Well, I like the idea of having a focus to stimulate more interesting discussion than I cut the lawn today. I agree.
yeah, let's keep it, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be like ham radio. I mean, it could be, I mean,
Okay.
well, my technical aspect. of it.
Okay, all right, bringing that up. Okay, so Ken, if we could get Ken to be in net control one night and he could talk about Elon Musk's latest rocket launch of some kind. Right? Or the
Now,
fact,
that's a hot button, Elon Musk.
or your latest attempt talking, or your latest attempt at, talking to the, excuse me. Or your latest attempt talking to the International Space Station. Okay.
I think you stand a better chance.
I think we've got some possibilities here. So let me go ahead, we'll put this together. Those of you who have been net control, Jeff, Mike, Dave, we'll roll a few things around, see what we can make work. And anybody else who would like to be a net control on a night that maybe you have something good to offer, please take it. Davis. All right, sound good? It is 8:30 something. Does anybody have any final comments, questions, concerns? Anything good for the group? Mike,
Any other new business?
any other new business?
So,
Davis?
Could I, thank you, Madam President. I'd like to pose a question to the club. Would the club consider accepting a donation of a Bluetooth speaker? So we can hear these guys.
Oh, yeah, if we had thought about Dave, yeah.
'Cause I've got a spare one. I used to use it when I taught my computer technician classes. I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
That's your call.
That's your call. We'll take whatever.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
I'll
All
make sure I
righty.
get it to you guys.
one for we don't need an answer on this one here, but a number of us have been talking about this issue. And participation, things like that, when we throw it out, people are gonna scream. Okay, is Zoom now helping us or hindering us? This is a club that meets once a month. I can see during it, and you know me, I've been like a strong advocate of vaccines, masks, responsible social distancing from the beginning. I understand what the pandemic was all about. I think Zoom now is an impediment and a crutch. And, people want to make the effort, at least one, this is a once a month organization. I strongly endorse two things. Moving the venue around from this so that, people from south of Canal didn't have a big hump up to town and those stuff. Great idea. I strongly endorse moving a venue of the field day to make it more accessible to everybody. So people, and I applaud everyone here tonight who came out in really crappy weather conditions to be there. But, it's just getting too easy to like, I'll sit on my ass at home, turn on the screen. And to be a good functioning club, to have morale and everything else, you need to be face to face. And I think it's time to put these damn Zoom meetings.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
I want a counterpoint.
Hold
All right.
on.
No counterpoint needed. Okay. Thank you, Dave, for voicing your concern and your opinion. But we will continue to have hybrid meetings because I think it has benefited the club, that participation for people who can't make it, they still can stay connected. I don't think people are staying away because it's there. I'm going to continue hybrid.
Jerry
You're the
has,
president and it is a dictatorship.
Well,
Jerry has. Jerry
okay,
has his hand up.
hold on a second. You might have said that in jest, but I think that was totally inappropriate.
Apology offered. Apologize. I was out of line on that one.
Apology accepted. I'm trying to do what's good for the group here. And to keep this hybrid, I think it's kept people connected that maybe they couldn't have been. Okay,
Fair enough.
all right. Who else?
He's good.
He's good. All righty. Anyone else? All righty. Tom,
Wait, hold on. Do we have anything from the arrow? Did he leave you anything?
he left. No, he
No,
didn't.
Did he give you
No.
anything? No, okay.
Tom.
I made the motion to adjourn. Second.
All righty, we're adjourned. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone, and Happy
God
Hanukkah,
bless us,
Jerry.
everyone.
Thank you. Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate. Likewise.
This is a little thing.
Thank you all.
It's about that square. And
I'm gonna end it.
it will fill this room. It's